Hello, this is Kelly, and today I'm going to give you a short instructional video on how to use the MetalTrax utilities from within MetalTrax itself. Now, the ability to do this, that we've added the MetalTrax utilities, came out in the 2.972366A update, which was released in August of 2022. So if you're on this update or a newer one, you will be able to see and do the things that I am showing you here. The first thing is that we need to turn on the ability to launch the utilities from within MetalTrax. So if I pull up the user maintenance screen for whatever user that I am wanting to grant the utilities access to, and I scroll clear down to the bottom, the launch utilities is very close to the bottom. It's in the miscellaneous section, and it's right here where it says launch utilities. I just have to double click on that to turn it on and then save it. Now, it will default to being off, and there's a good reason for that. It's because with it here in this user permissions, if I grant this user permission, they can click on that launch utilities button and they do not have to have a password or anything to use the utilities. So you will want to be careful who you grant access to, because people can do some damage or change item IDs or purge things in your data with this MetalTrax utility. So just be careful who you grant access to use those utilities. If I save that, now I have access to launch the utilities right from in MetalTrax. If I double click on that, you notice it goes directly to the utility screen. I no longer have to find the MetalTrax utilities on my C drive. It's right here within MetalTrax. The setup utilities are ones that you will probably not use very often, if at all. Most of those are going to be for new clients that are trying to bring in tax codes, customer addresses, etc. There is one, however, that you may find useful, and that is this add standard sizes one. On this one, if I put in a category ID, so let's say I have a category called plate, and I want every item in that category to have a 12-foot standard size or 48 by 96 standard size, since it's plate. I can put in the 48 by 96, I can put a description of 48 by 96, and even put a reorder pointer or desired level, and all I do is save it, and every item in that category will end up with that standard size. So I don't have to pull them up one at a time in item maintenance and add the standard sizes individually. The resync utilities, I think most of you are probably familiar with resyncing reservations or resyncing inventory. These are now easy to find right from within MetalTrax. You can resync the period GL balances, clearing homogeneous records with zero quantity. That's useful if your inventory is homogeneous, because you do tend to have a slow buildup of pieces in that will show 0 pieces in inventory, but maybe a tenth of a pound or something because of rounding issues and things. So you can use this clear homogeneous records with zero quantity to clear those up without us having to get into the data tables. The data change utilities, if I want to, for instance, change a customer ID, if ABC company has been purchased by XYZ company, and I want to keep the history of all of the sales and the transactions that I've had with ABC over the years, I can put my old customer ID name in here, and then I can change it to whatever I want the new one to be. And if I click OK, it is going to change ABC company in all aspects of the program. In all of my history, all of my old invoices, everything will now be changed to XYZ. So be careful on how you use that one. The same is, it works the same for these others. I can change an item ID, a sales rep ID. Now, if I change a sales rep ID, it will not just change, JS for my sales rep ID to RS for my new sales rep ID for here going forward. It will change it in all of the history. So you will want to be careful on how you use that one as well. The change item ID, there is an option here to change a batch too. If I click change batch, it's going to have me enter a spreadsheet that has 2 columns in it, one with the old item IDs and one with the new ones, and it will change all of the ones that are on this spreadsheet. I can change GL accounts, I can change tax codes, and I can change a customer ID for an invoice. So if there were perhaps 2 branches for a company and I did a sales order and invoice for the wrong one and they want me to change it and bill the right one, I can change that here so that I don't have to redo the order. The purge data utilities is one that you'll want to be very careful using. And you'll notice on all of these, it says to make a backup of certain files before you run them. You may even want to make a backup of your entire data set, because this one, for instance, the purge sales orders, if my system is starting to run slow and I've got, let's say I've got 20 years of sales orders building up and it's in my searches are starting to be slow because it has so much to slog through, I can purge all of my orders before, let's say 7 years ago or something, or 5 years ago. If I do that, they are deleted and I cannot pull that sales order up anymore to reprint it. It will not show up on the reports if I'm looking at a closed order report or anything. So be careful in deleting this. I think we have some customers that use it like, let's say I have a cash as my counter cash sales. That's my ID for my customer for those walk-in type orders. Those can build up and have be a really big file and have a long time to search through that. So it might be a good idea to purge those because you're not going to have to pull those up from 5 years ago. So if you can keep those ones clean. I would suggest just being careful how you use these purge data utilities, especially the tag one, because this says it will delete all shipped, processed, transferred, and removed tags that were received or produced before the date that you enter. It will not purge available tags, but there is a chance that you could have a tag that you received 5 years ago that you are just now selling and it is in the shipped status. And if I purged everything that is that old right now, it would purge that tag because it is in one of the statuses that's being purged. It's no longer available. It might be an old tag, but just make sure that you really want to get rid of all those before you do. Okay, that's a pretty rough overview, short overview of what you can do with the utilities and the changes that we've made in making it a little more accessible and easier for you to use. If you have any questions, be sure and call our office or email one of us, and we'd be happy to answer it or to walk you through anything like that. Thank you. Have a good day.